So Kyrie Irving brought up a good point on his podcast the other day that I feel like nobody's talking about. And that point is basically he feels that basketball should stop being exploited by the media. And I feel like that sentiment bleeds down into what the NBA is today because the NBA is an organization that has fell victim to capitalism to like the highest degree. And I feel like that because like this is the first time in history that you can't watch a free NBA game. Like, back in the day, the NBA would come on channels that were free to like, people watching. So it wasn't hard for people at home to watch the game. And that like, inspired these other players who were watching the players at that time who were playing like, like Michael Jordan and like, just like, the greats, like as they were watching those players, that inspired them to, take it to where they have taken it now. And this is the first time that in order to watch a game you have to have a streaming service, or you have to have like a channel like ESPN that you're paying into through like your cable provider or something like that. But at the same time it's not free, and that's insane. Like that's crazy. And I feel like it kills like like the kids coming up now who don't have access to the games, and it's all due to capitalism. And I feel like it even like breeds into the mentality of the players, because like I always say, like college players seem to play harder, and it seemed like they put more of their heart into the game. And I feel like they do that because they're not like, their future isn't guaranteed. They didn't sign like a multi-million-dollar contract, so they actually like care about like the game. Like they care about it in a way that an NBA player doesn't like understand. And in fact, I would say that college player is hungrier than an NBA player could be at that time, because they have something that they're like going to get. And I feel like the NBA changes that, because once those players reach that level and they get those $1 million contracts, like life changes for them. But it doesn't change in the fact of they're thinking about the game, they're thinking about like more of the financial end, and that's due to the NBA. And I'm not saying that paying these players is wrong, I'm just saying that like when you get the numbers up there like that, it really like takes the player's mind off of the sport. And it's really rare that you run into a player like Kobe, because I feel like the thing that separated Kobe Bryant was the fact that Kobe, his work ethic was insane. And it was insane because he wanted to be the great. He wanted to be the greatest in basketball. He wanted his name to be up there with legends, and it was more than just like the money. It was the sport. And I feel like there's not many players in the game that have that heart like Kobe does. And I feel like capitalism and what the NBA has done to just the game of basketball like has really just like changed it, and it skewed it to something that it shouldn't have never become. Because even in that same video that Kyrie was like talking on, he was basically saying that the NBA has, and basically the media as well has like turned basketball into something that it wasn't. Basketball was supposed to be a sport that everybody can play. This everybody can partake in. So everybody can like do this for like a leisure activity, and still have attributes to gain from it. But at the same time, what they've turned it to has turned it into something that like only capitalism could do. And I feel like it's important to have like people like Kyrie speaking on it, because he's in the league and he sees it firsthand. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Please tell me what y'all think on it, if y'all agree if the NBA has become something that is unrecognizable in a sense, or this is just the progression of what basketball is destined to become the bigger it gets. So let me know.